Hello, I'm Arexi Pukaniken, and we're balling today, tomorrow, most definitely yesterday. At what cost? Expect the unexpected, ladies and gentlemen, in this Formula One season that we have. Expect the absolute unexpected. All right, because last season, I think the consensus was that it was chaos, but it was kind of consistent chaos. So it was always just, it was all just a free for all. But now, now it's kind of like, advanced algebra or whatever the hell. You think there's a pattern. You think there's a reoccurring theme, and then, oh, wait a second, now you've been proven wrong. All right. We're going into round 7, round 8 of the Formula One season out of 24. And I've been caught off guard way more times than last season. Because last season, I was just like, well, anything can happen. Right? I didn't even have any expectations. I'm like, dude, I don't know. Anything can happen. Now I'm expecting something, and then like that, we have an Imola Grand Prix, and everything gets flipped upside down. All right? I'm sure a lot of people thought that. Look at Oscar Piastri go. He's on a hot streak. He might just ride it all the way to the end. Right? I predicted Norris would be bouncing back for Imola. That was not necessarily the case. So what do we get on a Saturday? Well, we got a great pole position from Oscar Piastri, snatching it away from Max Verstappen. Very straightforward. And Oscar Piastri has had a very impressive statistic of being able to convert a pole position into a race win 100% of the time until last race weekend. A little coffee in the system. Going into turn 1 of lap 1. Sorry. Coffee hit a little. Going into turn 1, lap 1, Oscar Piastri thought Max Verstappen just had a baby. Maybe his sleeping rhythm's been thrown off a little bit. Maybe he settled down a little bit, But Max Verstappen, if anything, has only strengthened his stance and his approach, which has always stayed the same, but if anything, is only elevated now. Max Verstappen sends it down the outside, outbreaks Oscar Piastri, and overtakes him after one turn in the race. Yes, Oscar Piastri is a great racer, right? And yes, that was an outstanding move from Max Verstappen, all right? Because it just shows this one I've repeated, but Max Verstappen is always going to drive the way Max Verstappen does. However, there were just a few things where you were like, I don't know, man. You think about that one Fernando Alonso quote when he overtook Michael Schumacher in Suzuka at the 130R. He said, I knew he was going to hit the brakes because he has a wife and 2 kids at home. Oscar was thinking that in the back of his head. Max Verstappen has a wife and 2 kids at home. But that's the difference with champions in this era. That's the difference that Max Verstappen has compared to everyone else. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about his family. He doesn't care about his wife and kids. That's just a bonus. He cares about winning in Formula One. So he is going to overtake you. Even if Oscar Piastri, which he did, Oscar Piastri had a better start. Statistically, he reacted faster than Max Verstappen. It simply doesn't matter. Because Max Verstappen just wants to be able to say simply lovely at the end of Sundays. And truthfully, if anything, the fact that he had the new baby, it's added motivation. All right? The more Max Verstappen can do, the more accolades he can collect in his Formula One career, the faster he's gonna be able to retire. I've said this once already. I've said this multiple times earlier this season once we started off, but he ain't going to stay here for much longer, dude. All right. Maybe a few years still, maybe, but that's only if things go well. All right. As of right now, especially after Imola, it looks like things are all right with Max Verstappen. But it's Oscar Piastri's lead right now in the driver's standings that is critical. And Piastri, I have to give it to him. He played it smart. All right. And this is when I'm sure Imola was one of those moments where he kind of realizes that he has to be incredibly patient throughout the whole season. His patience is the number one factor that will get him to win the Drivers' Championship. All right. I mean, for example, I'm sure he could have fought even more for P2. I'm sure if he really didn't give a damn, he would have just pushed Max Verstappen wide. But he understands the less risk, the better. Especially this season. And especially when you're going against Lando Norris and Max Verstappen, who, let's just be honest here, are risk takers, okay? They take risks. All right? They get aggressive. Oscar Piastri's just got to stay cool, brother. That's the only way he's going to win the Drivers' Championship, all right? Because it is a 2v1. It's him against Lando Norris and Max Verstappen. And he needs to approach Lando Norris differently than he approaches Max Verstappen. Because Max Verstappen's always going to be Max Verstappen. Right? Max is always going to race the same. He's going to... As long as you know where he is, track position wise, you know what he's gonna do, right? You're pretty in tune with his capabilities. But it's Lando Norris. It's your teammate who's driving the same car, who you gotta watch out for, Oscar, right? And I'm not even saying right now in terms of the Drivers' Championship, but you gotta somehow, if you're able to, you got to do a little collateral damage, all right? The number one thing I want to see later on this season is Oscar Piastri purposefully letting Lando Norris pass them so that Lando Norris and Max Verstappen ultimately freaking take each other out, crash into one another, and Oscar Piastri sweeps in. I'm convinced that it could have happened in Imola. Like, there was a part of his brain where it was like, okay, team kind of screwed me in terms of the tires, in terms of the strategy, right? And in all fairness, also, he just got unlucky with the safety cars. But there was that part of his brain where he must have been like, you know what? I could let him go past me right away, as in Lando Norris, and then just have Lando and Max Verstappen just crash into each other. He's got this thought in the back of his head. All right, that's like a dream come true for Piastri, right? He has to time that right, but then he also has to just watch out, right? He wants to be in positions where he doesn't want the team to make calls, right? Obviously, Oscar would rather make the call himself, which was what Imola was. Lando Norris is on the fresher tires. Lando Norris is complaining to the team, hey, I got the faster tires if you really want us to have a chance to win at this, right? And again, Oscar Piastri, smart enough, was just like, okay, I'd rather have Lando Norris finish P2 than have the chance of him finish P1 because that's his closest rival in terms of the Drivers' Championship. You following me still? Good. So it's going to be weird because I think Oscar Piastri knows that Max Verstappen's always going to be a threat. And if the Red Bull is, together, at least Max Verstappen's Red Bull, he's going to be fighting for the win, but it's Lando Norris in the same car, in the same team. How will that directly affect you during a race weekend even? So it's real interesting, but I think very, very smart from Oscar Piastri to not do anything brash. Congratulations to Lando Norris for the P2, and congratulations to Max Verstappen on becoming a new father and also just winning a freaking race just like that. You can never count this guy out. All right, but that's the top field. Let's go down a little bit, a few notches down, a few positions down. Ferrari are the best in the world when it comes to giving fans false hope. They give you just enough every time. Every freaking time, man. It's crazy. I almost have to tip the hat. You guys know, hey, they're entertaining. This shit a fucking roller coaster ride. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's entertaining. Yes, it's, of course, in a way, you would always just want fucking butterflies and rainbows, and unicorns and cotton candy. But no, Ferrari gives you the best of both worlds, really. Heartbreak and devastation. But, at the end of the day, you can't be like, well, you absolutely suck. You can't say that. That's almost the most annoying part about Ferrari. You can never really say that, well, you're the worst. They're not the worst. They're just... you can't even say mid because, like I said, the entertainment is insane. Both cars, Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc, get eliminated in Q2, so they don't even see Q3. And after all, the safety cars, VSC and the safety car, Hamilton P4 and Leclerc P6. Oh my God, the total positions gained from both Ferraris. this is the point where I have to start talking about Charles Leclerc a little bit more, right? I know there's a part of Charles right now that is so confused as to the way Hamilton approaches F1 and compared to him. He's like, wait, this guy, like, how am I actually more miserable than this guy? Right? Like, I don't get it. Like, Hamilton did better than Charles Leclerc somehow in Imola. Somehow. Right? And there's the part of Charles where he's just like, well, how the hell does this guy do it? Right? But that's the beauty of Hamilton, really. Well, he's a beautiful man, of course, talented, of course, but he plays towards the, oh, I'm a F1 driver, and that's it. You know. But they have a lot of similarities. They're both very passionate about music, right? I like that, sure, and the Hamilton has his, like the activist stuff, and that he does a lot, like a lot of like charitable work and all that. And then Charles Leclerc on the other side, he has like a ice cream company, and and his whole thing now is that Charles Leclerc's whole thing is, winning is obviously way too big of a burden for me to try and do, right? Like it happens every, blue moon or whenever the stars align, I will win a race. But in the meantime, look at my beautiful girlfriend, look at my cute ass dog. That's kind of Charles Leclerc's whole vibe. But if you look at Hamilton's general vibe, it's a 40-year-old man who has done pretty much nothing but race and drive F1 cars and win. That's it. He doesn't show up to race weekends with a girl, with you barely see the dog in picture anymore. Right? Lewis Hamilton just shows up and he's like, thank you for all the fans. Thank you for the support. And that's why I think the luck is on Hamilton's side. Leclerc, please, I love you. But stop being so miserable, man. It sucks, dude. You're so talented. You're so, you're so attractive, no homo, but you're just a handsome bastard, right? And you got the pretty girlfriend and life is treating you well. Just enjoy it, man. Enjoy it. So then just be thankful, dude. Right? Maybe that, like, karma will play into your favor one day, all right? Because after the race on Sunday, Leclerc admitted to the press. He said he got asked, do you have high hopes for the Monaco? What are your, what's your attitude like? And he's just like, no, he scored the pole position and win last season, and now he's 365 days later, he's like, no, I can't. Dude, he was so pissed off he had to pick up Macca's, bro. He was so fucking done. The guy picked up fucking Macca's after Imola. You know how gonski you gotta be to pick up Macca's when you obviously have some private chef and you are in Italy. You could just eat like some fire ass pasta. Whatever. Anything. He's so done, this guy. He's just defeated. And I don't blame him. But if you he's obviously facing the, disturbing truth that's in front of him. So just make the best out of it. Have more McDonald's, Leclerc. Have more McDonald's. You deserve it. You freaking deserve it, Leclerc. Stop with the freaking this and that. Okay? Pig out a little bit. Just pig out. It might work in your favor, dude. Hamilton, sure, he could have stayed in Mercedes, but, he took a chance, and is he better off at Mercedes? Possibly, but now it's just like, whatever, it's fun. It's fun, and then it pays off. Hamilton somehow gets a P4 when Charles Leclerc is P6. It's stuff like that. I love you, Charles, but because of that, you admitted that the chances or your hopes for Monaco aren't so bright. Then okay, I will do you this favor. I'll take you off of the picks for May. All right. I won't put that on you, but bro. Have more burgers, have more fries, all right? Have the large fries and the McFlurry and dip the fries in the McFlurry, right? The Big Mac and the chicken sandwich. Do it all. Leclerc, you deserve it, okay? Ferrari's been bullshitting you for way too many seasons now, okay? And now Hamilton's out here looking like, taking all the attention from you while you're suffering, okay? Think more selfishly, Leclerc. It's rare that I would have to give this advice for F1 driver, but think more selfishly, bro. All right, that's my take on Ferrari. I know I've been going on a little too long about just two freaking teams, but yeah, let's speed this up a little bit. Toto Wolff is gone for one weekend. I think he had a son graduating or something like that, so he missed out Imola. And Mercedes proceeded to take a nosedive in performance. Kimi Antonelli, his first home race, DNF, car just broke down, right? Which is just fundamentally very rare for Mercedes, right? That doesn't happen a lot at all. I mean, it's the whole thing with German machinery. It's reliable, right? Car broke down for Kimi Antonelli, so not the home Grand Prix that he was wishing for. And George Russell finished in P7 with the rear tires just freaking falling off a cliff the whole race. And that's the lowest position for George Russell this season, which is actually freaking mind-blowing because that's Mr. Consistency right there. I really did think that he might end up on the podium in Imola. So just a little, this is more of an observation. I know this means that Kimi Antonelli is going to bounce back like crazy. I predict a very good result in Monaco for him. And George Russell, again, he's going to bounce back. I'm sure, if it gets a little bit weird during Saturday, for qualifying, George Russell might be there up on the podium after Sunday's race. So, my bad. Sorry about that. But yeah, very interesting there. I don't know what else to say, but Mercedes being one of the more just consistent teams so far this season, and discounting McLaren, but look at them. Even they can have a bad race weekend, but expect the unexpected. All right. Unfortunately, this one I did expect, so I'm a freaking genius. Williams Racing. We are on a streak that will never die. I said Williams were going to keep the double point scoring streak going. And now we are 3 race weekends in a row with Alex Albon and Carlos Sainz both scoring points each of those 3 race weekends. Now it's a real streak. Now we just got to keep this going. All right, this is insane. I am so freaking happy to see this. I mean, podium was almost there. Podium was almost there. Very ambitious. I'm sure it was a little bit out of touch, but it wasn't the most impossible thing. All right. Yes, Alex Albon even admitted himself. This is what I love about Alex Albon. He really takes responsibility for things, and he really, admits to things very easily. He has that kind of humility. Alex Albon admitted that his racing with the Ferraris might have been a little too aggressive. He might have overpushed a little bit, lost out the position to Lewis Hamilton, he says, and my take is that too. He just did a little too much against the Ferraris. Best case scenario could have been a P4, but Alex Albon P5 is freaking amazing still. And Carlos Sainz, if it wasn't for the safety cars and the luck of the draw when it comes to that, Carlos Sainz would have finished up there as well. All right. So it was one of those weird ones where, that tifosi, that Italian, whatever, prayer stuff, the Catholics, just praying for Ferrari, that really kicked in because I personally think both Williams should have done better than both Ferraris during the race. But because of the safety car, alrighty, Rue, we'll take it. We'll take it still. All right, because now this point scoring thing is becoming slowly an automatic thing for both Williams cars, both Williams drivers. I love it. I simply love it. The podium is on the way, and much more is also on the way. All right. So thank you, Williams, for being the shit. Thank you, James Vowles, for being the absolute goddamn man. There's a new sheriff in town. This is the most exciting team in F1 to watch right now. Let's go, Williams. I've said this before. I'll say it again in much clearer words. Isaac Hadjar will be the first person in F1 history to reject a promotion. Or thank God for not offering him a promotion. Now, I don't want to be the guy who's a Yuki Tsunoda hater. All right, because the fella is young, right? And he's obviously shown that he's got what it takes and that he's got talent or whatever. But after Imola, Isaac Hadjar definitely has shown that he can freaking hang. All right? And what I like about Isaac Hadjar is that he doesn't suppress his emotions. This guy is very passionate. He's a passionate Frenchman. All right? Yuki Tsunoda freaking flips the Red Bull, totals it almost during qualifying. And he started the race from the pits. Yuki Tsunoda ended up finishing P10, so scored points even though he started in P20, technically. So good on Yuki Tsunoda. Very impressive recovery drive. But let's just say Checo did this kind of stuff last season. So, again, this is as far as, being a teammate to Max Verstappen, where it's like an actual teammate, we still haven't reached that point yet. Right, we're still in two different ballparks, two different leagues almost when it comes to just two drivers in the same team. It's ridiculous. But Isaac Hadjar is kind of pulling away from a few of the other rookies this season as well, right? Kimi Antonelli obviously shows that he's got the speed and, but Kimi Antonelli, consistency-wise, hasn't been there so far. And that's what I ultimately want to see more from Kimi. It's just the consistency. And Isaac Hadjar has shown that on a traditional track where it's super technical, he's got the speed and he has the ability to race the frick out of that car. So Isaac Hadjar, congratulations to you. And please stay the fuck away from Helmut Marko, okay? Just be doing your own thing and good things will happen. And last but not least, Aston Martin is alive. They're alive. They're here. Right? Both cars got into Q3 in the medium tire. So freaking, the strategists making some crazy calls. Yeah, Fernando Alonso P5 and Lance Stroll P8. They slotted in Q3. However, safety car, virtual safety car, all that stuff did not help whatsoever towards the two Aston Martins. But it looks like they're here. They're here. I thought they got left in the dust, to be fair with you, how the first 6 rounds went. But no. They're still here. Fernando, I know you. The guy says he's like, this is torture. I get you, man, but it's okay. You'll be there. Again, Adrian Newey designing the next season car. You're good. We're all good in Aston Martin. Let's just try to score some points, at least with Fernando Alonso as well. All right, because that's what I predicted, and I'm sure it's on the way too. I'm actually very impressed with the how visibly the Aston Martin got upgraded going into Imola. So shout out to Aston Martin. They're still here. But yeah, that's it. We're going into the second race weekend of this triple header that we have that will segue us into the summertime, the summer season. And it is beautiful outside. It is absolutely stunning. The sun's shining. The birds are chirping. But we got Monaco. Oh, man. Let me tell you about the birds in Monaco. You know what I'm saying? Monaco. What is there to say about Monaco? It's fucking beautiful. It is perhaps the most technical track of the whole season. One of the slowest tracks, right? Because they're literally just racing in the center of it's just in the street. Legendary track. I don't even know if I have to say anything about the actual circuit itself. It's fucking Monaco, okay? All right. If you get the pole position, it's very unlikely, very, very unlikely that you will not win the race, all right? It's very hard to overtake. It's practically impossible to overtake in Monaco. It will be a mandatory 2-stop. That is from the FIA. That is from Formula One. So you have to change tires twice. So we'll see how that plays out. It's all about the timing and if the freaking actual tire changes go smoothly. Imola was a little sketchy. It was a little sketchy for some teams, all right? So they have to polish that up as best as they can. Check the weather. As of right now, it is Tuesday of the Monaco race week. It said 50% of rain for Saturday. So even if it doesn't rain, I think it's going to be cloudy. So It's going to be slightly cooler. The track is going to be slightly cooler, slightly more challenging, slightly less grip. I think that will already affect qualifying a little bit. And on top of that, 50% chance of rain. So honestly, I wouldn't say rain rate go away. However, if it does rain, I'll say this right now. If it does rain, and I'll kind of like, I'll do a little boom, boom, rain. All right. If it rains, Carlos Sainz pole position. That's it. That's it. Don't even question it. Don't even question it. All right. Just let it happen. Just let it happen. All right. But if track conditions are pretty regular, no rain, just a little bit of clouds, I'm sorry, but the man himself always bounces back, and that man is Oscar Piastri. All right. Shout out to Max Verstappen. Shout out to Lando Norris. But this is Oscar Piastri's weekend. All right. It will absolutely be an Oscar Piastri masterclass. All right. The bounce back has never been so straightforward. And the only way Piastri doesn't convert the pole position to a win is if McLaren screws him. If the pit stop screws him, it's a slow pit stop, or they called him in at the wrong time and the whole thing is fucked. Or, you know what? I have to admit, a lot of rookies this season, who knows, maybe a rookie crashes into the wall. Again, the margins are millimeters when it comes to crashing into the wall, doing damage to your car. I fingers crossed, no safety cars, really. I just want there to be zero drama, zero. I want this to be straightforward. Piastri pole position, Piastri win. That's that. No complications. That's all I want. That's all I want. But of course, that's the beauty of Monaco. It's never so simple, is it? It never really is. But yeah, beautiful stuff. That's Monaco. We have MotoGP in Silverstone this weekend as well. Freaking amazing. Silverstone, legendary track, and MotoGP, those guys are so on fire right now. And I'm actually just going to keep on following the whole season because I think the racing is phenomenal and the action is so packed compared to F1 because it's less laps. And, you know, in a way, the control and side-by-side racing is way more difficult than, you know, four wheels compared to two. So MotoGP, who knows if Marc Marquez bounces back after a weird weekend last time, all right? So that's going to be interesting. I think the Silverstone MotoGP race starts at 3 o'clock finish time, and then Monaco GP starts at 16 or 4 o'clock, finish time. So it's going to be a Sunday that's going to be unforgettable. Saturday as well, I'm going to be more tuned into Monaco because pretty much a lot gets decided on Saturday compared to any other race weekend. It's amazing. It's simply amazing. The summer is here. Expect the unexpected, though. That's my whole thing. That's why I had to put a little, you know, if I expect this, I got to expect the unexpected as well. It's right there. All right, I'm keeping everything open. I mean, this is still alive. This, I don't know. Let's fingers crossed for Ferrari. This one is very doable, and Antonelli podium, possibly if he just shows raw pace, raw speed in Monaco, I think it could be possible. But yeah, that's about it. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Alexi Pukinik, and stay ballin', ladies and gentlemen, and I'll see you next week.